After the disruption with the weather last weekend, normal service is resumed for the third round of the Regal Trophy. And today we have the battle between Wigan and Bradford Northern here at Central Park in Wigan. Hello, you know, they've had the Regal Trophy in their boardroom here at Central Park for the past 2 years, and they're hell-bent on keeping it for a record hat-trick. Now, First Division Bradford Northern provide the opposition today, and they won here at Central Park on their last visit in the Premiership semi-final back in April. And already this season, Bradford Northern have recorded a victory against Wigan in the First Division by the remarkable score of 31 points to 30. And there is the Wigan side. We make it 11 internationals in the lineup, beginning with Steve Hampson, the fullback. David Myers is one of the few players who hasn't made it at international level. Kevin Iro has. It's the New Zealand connection in the centres alongside Dean Bell. And Frano Botica is another international in the other code, though, a rugby union All Black. The best of British at half-back, Sean Edwards at 6, and Andy Gregory, who's just announced his retirement from international football at 7. Ian Lucas is a Great Britain tourist, he's at prop forward, alongside Bobby Goulding, who was the scrum half on the Papua New Guinea and New Zealand tour. Kelvin Skerritt plays against his former club. Dennis Betts is in the second row, alongside Andy Platt, and of course Ellery Hanley completes the Wigan lineup. He's the loose forward and captain, and the Wigan coach is John Money. Well, there is Ellery Hanley playing against his former club today. Needs 3 tries for 300 in his glittering career. Winding his players up as per usual. Big day then for Hanley against his former team. Really did make his name at Bradford Northern before moving in a big money signing to Wigan. And there are the current crop of Bradford Northern players. We make it 6 internationals in this lineup. Darren Moxon, the young fullback. Gerald Caudle is on the wing, signing from Welsh Rugby Union. Darryl Shelford plays in the centre. He's the brother of the All Black Buck. Roger Simpson has moved into the centres off the wing to make way for Tony Marchant. Neil Summers has a big job on his hands today. He's at standoff alongside another capture from Rugby Union in New Zealand, Brett Eatey. David Hobbs is the player coach at Odsal, and Brian Noble is a former Great Britain hooker. John Hamer is a local policeman. He's the other prop forward, and it's a formidable second row. Paul Medley partners Great Britain international Carl Furbank. And the captain, it's a big day for this fellow too, John Pendlebury, former Wigan player. And the coach is David Hobbs. Could be an important toss to win this, as the conditions could change during the course of the afternoon. But referee Holdsworth just laying down the law to the 2 captains, Pendlebury on the right and the unmistakable figure of Ellery Hanley on the left. Wigan, of course, winners of this competition for the last 2 seasons, bidding for that record hat-trick, and 6 successes in all. Wigan and Bradford Northern met just once before in this competition, the semi-final 2 years ago. Wigan won that day by 16 points to 5. So what does this quarter-final have in store for us? Not a bad crowd in view of the fact that many people will be out Christmas shopping. And Steve Hampson it is, the Great Britain and Wigan fullback, to get this game underway. And the first touch for the big Bradford Northern forwards. That's Paul Medley. Noble is the dummy half. John Hamer taking the play up. Forwards feeling each other out early on in this. The forward battle could be so important as the match progresses. David Hobbs, the player coach. Laid back, kick ahead from Neil Summers, and Botica underneath it, takes it cleanly. And of course, Botica, former All Black, played his rugby union at standoff, and he's the utility man for Wigan in this star-studded Wigan lineup.
Yes, the tackling will be a feature of the game early on in this match. Without doubt, the power of the Bradford pack will have a big role to play in this match. Already we see some big hits coming from both sides, and really they're just testing each other out at the start of the match.
Hanley in the side, as I say, against his former team, Bradford Northern. Really did make his name for them, scored 59 tries a couple of seasons ago. Dennis Betts now taking it up, and that's the last tackle. So will Wigan kick here? A long pass to Gregory. Gregory hoists one downfield. An early touch for the young fullback. Oh, and that's a high tackle from Bell. Now that 12 months ago, Bell really would have been on his way to the dressing rooms here. That was a really high challenge. Dean Bell, New Zealand international. Moxon playing only his third game in Bradford Northern's colours, and Moxon there laid flat out.
Yes, we see the fullback coming off his right foot here. He puts the foot down, produces the large steps inside, and Bell raises the right arm straight under the jaw and follows up with the elbows and his midriff. A very high tackle, and really the game needs Dean Bell into the sim at least for that.
Well, the referee has taken the lenient view. He's spoken to Dean Bell. Just checking now on the condition of Darren Moxon, and says it's a penalty to Bradford Northern. Well, he's taking some time to recover. Moxon, fortunately, he's all right. Bit groggy, perhaps.
It'll be interesting to see how the young lad recovers from this. Taking a knock early in the game sometimes works in your favour, in as much you can get into the game after having the adrenaline flowing, or otherwise he could be feeling groggy and could destroy him.
Well, he knows he's in the quarter-final now, Darren Moxon. And Bradford are in possession. Noble from acting halfback. There's his player coach, David Hobbs. I think he'll see plenty of the ball this afternoon, Hobbs. Really will carry the battle up front for the men from Yorkshire. Furbank, that's neatly played, but Hanley quick to spot the danger, and perhaps a little bit too quick as he challenged Eaty there. Penalty to Bradford. Hanley laying on in the tackle. A trick he learned, I think, from the Australian tour.
Yes, it's always vital to try and hold the ball player down at the tackle to gain your defence a few seconds to get the ranks in order. But as we saw there, Ellery just held down a few seconds too much, and Brett Eaty did the right thing and came away with the penalty.
Tony Marchant then. Good run from him. Taking play towards that Wigan 22. There's Hamer. The big Bradford pack are taking the match to Wigan. Eaty, Pendlebury. Good play inside to Furbank. That's a nice ball. Summers. Oh, a good run from Summers. Hampson does well, and the ball was spilled there. It was coming into Eaty's palm, but Wigan snapped the danger shut. Good play from Bradford.
A tremendous set-piece move. We saw Carl Furbank coming back onto the blind side. He unleashed Neil Summers, who showed great acceleration, went through to the fullback, and unfortunately the final pass went astray. But Bradford will take heart from that, breaking the Wigan defence so early on.
And now the job of the Bradford forwards is to keep Wigan penned back there near their own lines. The holders up against it here then. And confidence in short supply. Bradford back in possession. They look hungry. Caudle. This is the danger area for Wigan. Meeting First Division opposition for the first time in this competition today. The first time this season, that is. And Pendlebury, the former Wigan man, at dummy half. Hobbs there, the number 8, directing operations. There he is. Player coach going on his own, Hobbs. Tried to unload the pass and did so too. Good play from Hobbs, using his strength. Now this is Eaty again, trying to tunnel his way over, but Wigan hold him up, and once more it was on the last tackle. The Wigan defence held firm.
Yes, Bradford will be quite pleased with that. Although they didn't get the score, they've got Wigan pinned on their own line, and it'll be interesting to see just how they can come away with this ball. But Bradford have shown some enterprise there, and really have set the stall out for a big afternoon's work.
5 minutes of this quarter-final gone then. We still await the first points. Wigan 0, the holders. Bradford Northern 0. Wigan facing their biggest challenge. Oh my word, if there was a high tackle before, there's another one, and that's Carl Furbank, who was in very high on Dennis Betts, and Betts, the Great Britain international, laid flat out.
Yes, Betts came on the ball here, coming very, very straight, and Furbank came across, and again, like we saw earlier, raised his right arm, and unfortunately landed across Dennis Betts' nose. And as we see there, he looks a little bit groggy on that one.
Oh, he's in a terrible mess, isn't he? And he obviously doesn't really know where he is. Dennis Betts, remarkable that too, that those two players could well have roomed together on the Great Britain scene when the Australians were over here. Two Great Britain internationals, teammates then, anything but now.
Yes, they would have spent a lot of time together during the recent Australian series, and that just shows how competitive this game of rugby league is, that lads no sooner back with the clubs and they're taking stripes off one another in that vein.
Well, that's one high tackle apiece. Dean Bell's high tackle for Wigan earlier on. Carl Furbank making it 1-1. And Hobbs doing well at the play the ball there, dropping on the loose ball. They really do look a bit keener, don't they, Bradford, than Wigan?
Yes, they're very hungry on this afternoon's first few minutes showing. They're chasing every ball. They're causing Wigan no end of problems at the play of the ball. And really, Wigan have made one or two elementary mistakes which you wouldn't expect at this stage in the game.
E.T. and Pendlebury, nice little run around. E.T. taking it up again. Wigan having to work overtime in defence. Oh, Pendlebury took his eye off that ball, bounced off his knee, and Andy Platt this time, first man to it for Wigan. Gregory, now Dean Bell.
There we saw Wigan very flat and looking rather disorganised, and again Bradford will take out from that, and we saw their defence come up very quickly to know the threat from Bell.
Kevin Iro, big strong boy in the centres for Wigan. Northern will have to watch him. Goulding directing operations from dummy half. This is Edwards. And all wrapped up by Carl Furbank. Goulding again. Gregory. Took over the top from the little man. That's a good kick. Pushes Norton back into their own 22. A scrum down. Bradford will have head and feed. And Brett Eatey is the man to feed the scrum. He's another capture from New Zealand Rugby Union. Arrived in the deal that brought Darryl Shelford to Odsal. Good tackling from Hampson. That was John Holdsworth, boys. That's 2 tackles gone.
Expect Bradford to play very simple, basic rugby from this position. Unfortunately, shouldn't make those type of mistakes, because that will give Wigan impetus, and they'll have the chance to put some pressure on the Northern line now.
John Hamer, the man who dropped the ball, local policeman, back on the beat tomorrow morning. He missed much of last season because of injury. In there and using his weight in the scrum. And the ball has come out on Wigan's side. Andy Gregory retaining possession for his team. Poor ball from Hanley though. Here's Dean Bell again. Good ball, Hanley in support. Well pulled down by the Northern defence. They know the danger when Hanley is there.
A tremendous break from Bell there. From nothing, he picked the ball up, made a big step, and nearly got Hanley near the try line.
There's men over here. This is Iro. Good tackling again though from Bradford. Myers the acting half. This now is Lucas, using his weight and strength, taking the Wigan play ever so nearer that Bradford Northern line. Gregory, Edwards, Gregory again, another mistake, and Pendlebury sweeps on it for Bradford Northern.
Again, Northern got on the loose ball. Although they're under pressure, they're showing a lot of commitment with their hunger to get on the loose balls and take the initiative away from Wigan. Bradford are performing very, very well in these early stages, even though it's a simple dour game each time they get the ball.
There's the young full-back, Darren Moxon. Looks to have recovered from the early bang from Dean Bell. Hamer again. Good tackling from both sides early on here. 10 minutes gone. Still 0-0. Hobbs' kick ahead. Doesn't find touch. Hampson picks up. And Bradford trying to chase him down. And that's good tackling from Neil Summers. Wigan, though, keep coming forward. Kevin Iro. Such strength from the New Zealander. Swats the tacklers away, but couldn't swat Tony Marchant off. Hanley. Good play from the captain. Kick ahead. There's a race on here. And it's Marchant who gets to it first, ahead of Sean Edwards.
That was a tremendous couple of plays from Wigan. Firstly, we saw the power of Kevin Iro coming up the touchline, swatting the Bradford lads off like flies. And there we saw Ellery Hanley at his best, probing straight running, straight at the heart of the Bradford defence. And great backing up from Bobby Goulding, but unfortunately nothing came to fruition.
Bradford penned for the moment in their own 22. Wigan's turn to apply a bit of pressure. And Hobbs kicking for territory, and it goes out on the full. That's a mistake from the Bradford Northern player coach. Play will be brought back. It'll be a scrum down, and what's more, Wigan have the feed, and so really they should get possession from this. And as you can see, they're not too far away from those Bradford Northern posts.
Now Bradford are defending resolutely at this stage, and really if they can hold out for the next few moments, it will do them their confidence no end of good.
Myers finds Hanley. Hanley watched closely whenever he gets the ball. Goulding from dummy half. Hanley now. Oh, and it was a low pass. Gregory couldn't really get to it, even though he is a little man.
A couple of times we've seen Ellery Hanley throw bad passes from acting halfback, and I wonder if the big elbow strap on his right arm there is having something to play in his passing ability.
You can tell how chilly it is here at Wigan today. Look at the steam rising from the scrum. The scrum collapses. Play on, says the referee. Bradford have possession. Pendlebury, number 13. It was his penalty that gave his team a last gasp win against second division Workington in the first round. Eaty at dummy half. The Bradford forwards are willing workhorses at this stage, taking the pressure. And that touched a Wigan hand. It's all on here. A good play that from Bottiger. Hampson linked up well. Goulding playing in the hooking role today. Such an inspirational scrum half in New Zealand, but that ball came loose. The referee though said play on. Kelvin Skerrett, another man playing against his former teammates today. Two number 12s collide, Furbank and Platt. Platt keeps hold. Hanley. Good ball out to Myers. Not too much space for David Myers. Goulding again. Gregory. Long pass from Gregory. This is the last tackle. Hampson will hoist one to test the full-back. Oh, he spills it. Maybe he was expecting the onrushing Wigan forwards to clatter him as he went for that ball. He was all on his own, and it was a bad mistake by the youngster.
Yes, a good up and under from Steve Hampson there. He's an expert at the big kick and catch. And really the mistake, as we see here from Moxon, he was following the ball, positioned himself well, but not well enough.
Good run from Bottiger. Hanley takes over. This is better from Wigan. Iro. Good run from Kevin Iro. They still haven't got him. They have now. And he's in touch.
This guy, Iro, is the jewel in the crown at the moment for Wigan. Every time he gets the ball with a little bit of space, he causes danger. And as we saw him in full flight again, it's an awesome sight of the man's power. And You see here, he goes outside Simpson, straightens up, he's got the big sledgehammer handoff there ready and waiting, but it's 3 or 4 guys who finally put him into touch.
And Wigan have got the possession from the scrum, so a big chance for them here. Lucas with that scrum cap, the big Wigan prop forward. Goulding, Gregory, Edwards, Hanley. Shape to kick. It unlocked the Australians' defence a couple of weeks ago. Will it unlock the Bradford defence? Hampson takes over. No options though for Hampson. Wigan had stopped running.
Wigan came across there. We saw the strength of Ellery Hanley in his upper body. He was brushing tackles off. But Wigan, they're just not organised, and when they get into 25 they're making elementary mistakes, and Bradford are quite happy just to pick up the pieces and produce some solid but simple rugby.
24 minutes gone. The quarter-final is still pointless. Wigan 0, Bradford Northern 0. Which defence will crack first? Wigan have a remarkable run in this competition, unbeaten in the last 14 matches. The last defeat in the semi-final of 1987, 19 points to 6 by Leeds at Bolton. But Bradford, I fancy, have the scent of victory here. It looks an out-of-sorts Wigan side, and Bradford really are examining them.
There we saw Bradford changing the tactic on the long kick. We saw earlier Hobbs produce 2 poor ones, and there he gave it to Eaty to kick, and it did the trick.
Myers running straight for Wigan. It's a good run from the winger. He's drifted in field in search of that ball, and showing there what he can do, David Myers. Well, he looked like he'd been felled by a bolt from a gun there, and the referee has given a penalty for a push on Myers as he went and to regain his feet for the play the ball. Myers delighted, Bradford furious.
There we saw Summers holding him down, and as we discussed earlier, just that extra few seconds and a little push, and David Myers does the dying swan act and wins the penalty.
And while the penalty is being prepared to be taken, Andy Goodway comes off the bench to replace Kelvin Skerrett. Former Bradford Northern man has been given 25 minutes by his coach John Money, and Andy Goodway has come on.
Yes, Andy Goodway is a tremendous straightforward running second rower, and he'd probably been brought on to straighten up the Wigan attack with some straight powerful running, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Gregory, ball in field, good run from Andy Platt. Goulding from acting half. Gregory, oh, nearly spilled it. Well, there's Goodway. First touch for Goodway, and he's over. Well, that's remarkable substitution by John Money. Andy Goodway has come off the bench. He's taken the pass from Andy Gregory, and the Wigan public are delighted. Their side have edged ahead, courtesy of Andy Goodway's first touch. It's Wigan 4, Bradford Northern 0. We see Goulding feeding Ian Lucas here, stops, gives it to Gregory. He's got runners at either side, and Goodway spots the gap in the Bradford defence, and his power and pace sees him through Darren Moxon's tackle. A great try. Gregory teased the Bradford defence with his straightening up. The guys came in for him, missed a tackle, but Goodway was on hand there, showing great power and strength. The handoff was there it needed, and a great try from an excellent second row forward. Yes, his 8th try of the season. He has a lingering back problem, Andy Goodway, which is causing the medics some concern at Central Park. He didn't show any signs of it then. First touch from him after he came off the bench, and he scored the first try of the match. Good substitution by the Wigan coach. Botica then, with this conversion attempt, and he's pulled it wide. And a kicker of Botica's quality will be annoyed by that. He rattled 6 over last week. But there are the statistics about Andy Goodway, 29-year-old, full-time rugby league professional. Good substitution by John Money. Yes, we've seen Wigan throw the ball around, especially Kevin Iro's way, but apart from one or two, haven't been making straight direct runs, and I believe it's John Mooney's thinking to put Goodway on just to bring that quality to the side. A bit of direct running, and we've seen the fruits of the labour there.
And here he is again, running straight from his own try line and making 22 metres. I always think he is one of the best running forwards in the British game on his day, Andy Goodway. Great player.
Without doubt, but the old problem for running forwards is you need good service, and it needs good timing of your first and second passes, and there we saw exactly just what Goodway's good at.
John Mooney watching the match from up in the Eyrie at Central Park. Likes to get up high, see the pattern of play and make substitutions like that one. 4-0 then, Wigan ahead. 11 minutes to half-time on my watch. Bobby Goulding something away from Medley. Hamer, though, completing the job. Edwards. Kick ahead from Edwards. One bounce, easy for Moxon.
I think the lad's done well after the initial knock he took. He's run the ball up gamely, and apart from that one misfield, he's had a good half.
Caudle, all wrapped up by Hanley. And Caudle gaining a couple of metres. Hamer now. Bradford not making much progress here.
There's one thing for certain, Bradford won't change their game plan. They'll be happy to keep the Wigan score down and try to make capitalise on the points when they get in their 25.
Hobbs with the kick ahead. And he doesn't find touch this time, only finds Bottiger. Good catch. Hampson. Good chasing from Neil Summers. They tell me at Odsal if Summers plays well, Bradford play well. He's a signing from Headingley Rugby Union, out of the same school as Simon Irving, of course, of Leeds, who's made such an impact just up the road from Odsal at Headingley.
But it's interesting, Neil Summers played a lot of his youth rugby in the league code, so he's not having too many transitional problems because of his good grounding at youth level.
Edwards. This is out Lucas. Gives it instead to Betts. Carrying on bravely despite what looks like a broken nose. Gregory. Hacks it ahead. And E.T. collects. It's a good ball. Darryl Shelford does well. And who's in support? It's E.T. again. But that's good tackling from Andy Gregory. Moxon wants to get on with it. Full-back making useful ground. Again, Bell is laying on him. Letting the Wigan defence reorganise. Important moments then for Wigan here. Can they defend that lead? Pendlebury. Good run from Pendlebury. He's going to go all the way. The Bradford Northern captain has equalised the scores, and he will be delighted with that. John Pendlebury, former Wigan player, and he's brought Bradford Northern back into this quarter-final, and Northern have replied in the best possible fashion. John Pendlebury's second try of the season.
Pendlebury takes the ball at second man here off David Hobbs with not much on for him. However, he produced a super handoff to push off Andy Goodway. He's going straight for the line. Sean Edwards comes in and makes a hash of a tackle, and he's too near the line for Steve Hampson to do anything about it. A tremendous try from the Bradford captain, showing all the skills of the game there. He straightened up well, pushed Goodway off, powered through. We saw Hanley holding Medley back in the corner of the picture. Two poor tackles by the Wigan defence, although to be honest Hampson couldn't do much about it. It was too close to the line. But Pendlebury has done the business there, and Bradford are well in this game again.
John Pendlebury then, the try scorer, will really be thrilled with that. He was with Wigan when they were relegated 10 years ago. Back here today, and he's pulled his side back into this match. And David Hobbs, the player coach should, from this distance, add the extra 2. And he does. David Hobbs's 37th goal of the season then, and the Bradford Northern player coach has put his side into the lead.
The human condition is not always a happy one, as we can see by the condition of this particular human. Overeating, overdrinking, yes, it's all coming back now. Thankfully, help is at hand. Resolve, with paracetamol for headache, antacid for upset stomach, glucose and vitamin C, so at least you know you're going to live. Resolve, the all-in-one remedy for the morning after.
With 2 incredible ways to save, only H. Samuel can make Christmas go with a... There are massive reductions on gifts for everyone, like this 9-carat gold necklace and bracelet set, now just $39.95. These watches at $12.99 each. This saffron diamond ring at $99.50. Or these 9-carat gold earrings at under a tenner each. But that's not all. Spend £150 and get a £50 voucher free. It's like getting a third of your money off. The H. Samuel sale is a cracker.
It's always important for a team to strike back as quickly as possible after just letting in a try, and Bradford have done just that. We saw Hobbs feeding Pendlebury. He sliced, fumbled with the ball, but straightened up, pushed off Goodway with a super handoff, saw his supporting men being tackled by Hanley and pushed through the 2 tackles there. A great try and great skill from Pendlebury.
So Bradford Northern really will fancy their chances now. They've hit the front at just the right time. Psychologically, it's a great moment to take the lead as we approach half-time. And after going behind to that Andy Goodway try, they've hit back, and Northern will think now they're on their way to the semi-finals. There's a long, long way to go, though, before that happens. Pendlebury, the try scorer, his kick ahead, bounced kindly for Hampson.
I suspect we'll see some simple rugby from Bradford now, and I'll just see the game out to half-time, and we'll be well pleased with the first half performance.
Gregory and Hanley. Hanley running straight, he's looking round for supporters. They're not there. Wigan at the moment are just freewheeling, I fancy. Edwards tackled immediately, he received that ball by Neil Summers. That was great play. Gregory arrowing a kick towards that corner flag, and that's good play from Andy Gregory.
There we see Gregory putting a super little kick into the corner there. He's trying to get the Wigan side back in the Bradford 25 to assert some pressure and get themselves back in the front.
And if you think you're watching this match on a building site, that is the site there of a new stand that's going up here at Central Park. Private boxes, undercover seating, the face of rugby league in the 90s.
It's quite interesting. One could say that it increases the advertising space, having one of your stands being rebuilt.
Yes, plenty of money for the club there. Simpson, the man in possession for Bradford Northern. Now Marchant. Noble from dummy half. Hobbs, the player coach, kicks ahead. And it bounced kindly again for Hampson. Iro from dummy half. Really has run strongly all afternoon, Kevin Iro.
A very powerful player, one of Wigan's strengths out here in the right centre position. And really, he's been one of the danger men for this Wigan side, as has this fella, Ellery Hanley.
What a good run from Hanley. Feeds Myers. Myers heading for the corner. Stepped inside to beat the onrushing Eatey and straight into trouble. But Wigan coming back powerfully again here. Gregory, Edwards. There's Goodway. He gives it to Bell. Bell helps it on to Hampson. and the Bradford defence has reorganised. Bell again. Edwards. Hanley. Wigan having to go backwards to come forwards. Good run though again, and Myers fed once more, hugging this touchline. Hoist the ball in field. It must have been a forward pass.
Yes, we saw the power again of the combination of Hanley and Iro unleashing Myers up the wing. He's done well as the young lad Myers on numerous occasions, but he threw a stray pass inside there, and again that has left Bradford off the hook. Hanley beats the first man again, feeds Iro, feeds Myers, sees the line beckoning and throws a stray pass over the top. Although Hilary Hanley felt he got another try, it wasn't to be.
So 3 minutes of normal time remaining here at Central Park. A vital scrum for Bradford Northern to win, and they do, right on their own try line. This is Brett Eatey, straight into Hampson, who stopped him dead in his tracks, and Iro completes the job.
Wasn't too fancy running into that Kevin Iro. He's like a chieftain tank.
He's a big lad. Simpson. Wigan keeping Bradford back inside their own 22. Just hoping to feed on any mistake that the Bradford forwards might make. Good kick ahead. It doesn't find touch though, holds up on the soft surface here despite the frost and ice that we've had in the northwest of England over the past couple of days. The undersoil heating has worked a treat here at Central Park. It's a perfect playing surface.
Some indecision there in the Wigan ranks. They were slow to get behind the ball after a good kick from Summers, and really again and again we're seeing elementary mistakes from this Wigan side.
There was another, fortunately for Wigan. Goulding was able to sweep up and tidy up the bits. Andy Platt can make no progress. What can Dennis Betts do? And he can't do much better, tackling like that, and what's more, he's dropped the ball, but Hamer in an offside position. He had no real alternative other than to pick that ball up. It rolled straight at him, but he was still offside.
Yes, we saw Brett Eatey actually knock the ball out of Dennis Betts' hands there, and I think it was John Hamer who was unsighted, and his natural instinct was to pounce on the ball, as most of the Bradford side have done all afternoon so far, and really it was a mistake, but unavoidably so.
Into the final minute of normal time then in this first half. Wigan would love to get across that line again, give themselves the cushion of a lead at half-time. Lucas. Pendlebury leaning on him. Gregory and Edwards working the run around. This is Dean Bell. Hanley from dummy half, good way. Edwards again. Nowhere for Edwards to go really. Unloaded the pass. Betts keeps it going. Wigan doing well. Lucas keeps going again. Iro inside to Botica, who's straight onto the other side of the field. Hanley, sloppy play from Bradford, should have wrapped him up. The move keeps going. Edwards runs straight into Goulding, and now they bring this Wigan attack to a halt. Last tackle in injury time. The bomb from Gregory. Another one for the full-back, and he took that one well.
What we saw though, Wigan set up a good set ploy move, a run around hitting Dean Bell, but what they seem to fail on is the second phase attack. They seem to bunch, and although they made lots of passes, they weren't making much ground in that set of six.
Pressure will come in from them now though. Head to head between Hanley and Summers. Pendlebury again for Bradford Northern. Be delighted with that try, John Pendlebury. Hobbs, he won't be too displeased with his loose forward and captain either. Botica now for Wigan. Hampson did well, he picked that one up off his toes. The best of passes though for Myers. There's the hooter at half-time. And Bradford Northern have confounded one or two critics here, I fancy. The holders are trailing at the half-time interval. Wigan 4, Bradford Northern 6. Wigan went ahead, Bradford hit back, and then Hobbs slotted over the conversion to give his side that half-time breather. So Wigan 4, Bradford 6. Who's for the semi-final? You can find out after the break.
If that looks crammed, they should count themselves lucky, because there's around 300 crispy bits in every toffee crisp.
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Rolf, but nothing's as crammed as a toffee crisp.
Oh no, it's the symptoms. This episode, a proper lemon.
There you go, love. There you go, love.
Beecham's hot lemon.
Feeling better?
Yep.
There you go, love.
That's fast, comforting Beecham's Hot Lemon. When you want to feel better, better choose Beecham's.
And welcome back to Central Park. The mist is beginning to roll in this particular part of Lancashire, but that won't bother the two captains today, John Pendlebury and Ellery Hanley. Pendlebury, I think, will have enjoyed the first half a little better than Mr. Hanley. Scored a try, and Bradford Northern are ahead at half-time. The difference just 2 points. So will it be Wigan or Bradford Northern in the bag for the semi-finals? Referee John Holdsworth checks with his touch judges, and we're underway at the start of this second 40 minutes. Perhaps Bradford's most important second half of the season, Terry.
Most definitely. It's the game of the season as far as they're concerned. They need to consolidate what they've gained in terms of numerical advantage, 6-4. And really, Wigan have got it all on the plate to get themselves back in front after an indifferent first half display.
Notice one or two changes during half-time. Kelvin Skerrett has returned for Dennis Betts. He's the man with the broken nose. Andy Gregory has gone off injured. The word from the dressing room is that's a groin strain again for him. And Ian Gildart has come on for Wigan in the number 14 jersey. Craig Richards, meanwhile, has come on for Carl Furbank. Edwards. Deep kick from him. And Tony Marchant collects for Bradford Northern. Moxon.
The young lad is starting the second half like he finished the first, keen and eager to take the ball up at every opportunity.
John Hamer, the prop forward. Noble is the acting half-back. And there's Craig Richards, number 15 on his back. He actually is filled in behind Kelvin Skerrett at Odsal this season. Good kick ahead. Punishing kick.
There we saw Wigan have a good kick from Sean Edwards, have a good chase and try to pin Bradford back. But as we've seen so far in the game, Bradford slowly but surely taking Wigan on, and John Pendlebury putting a good kick into touch there to put the game back in the Wigan 25.
Gregory off the field, Edwards feeding at the scrums. Hanley, he's playing in the standoff half role now in this second half. And that's a good driving run from the Wigan captain. Botica had Iro alongside him. A bit of frustration from Kevin Iro that he wasn't given the ball.
From what we've seen so far, it appears John Mooney has clearly instructed the Wigan lads to run straighter with this ball and make some inroads into the Bradford defence.
Yes, they were running 70 or 80 metres at times, but across the face of the field in the first half and only gaining 3. So the instructions from the Wigan coach, plain for all to see. Good kick. Northern having to defend. They've won this trophy just twice, 1975 and 1980, and have made it to the one semi-final since then. That was 2 years ago when they lost to Wigan. Bradford just ahead at the scrums as well.
I think we saw in the first half how serious Bradford take the scrummaging. I remember we had 2 scrums where they won the possession, although it was at Wigan feed.
There's John Money. Alongside him is coaching coordinator Harry Pinner, and one of his injured stars, Joe Lydon, was there in the picture too. Important moments these for Bradford at the start of this second half. Wigan have come out, they look a bit more fired up.
I think Bradford must do what they do best, which is straight driving off acting half-back, making yards, followed by good kicking from Hobbs or Pendlebury.
David Hobbs telling me before the match that he wants the defence to be tighter. There is the Bradford player coach with that kick ahead. Didn't find touch, Hobbs. Found Hampson instead. He's found Botica. Good run from the New Zealander to his fellow countryman Kevin Iro. Nice pass over the top. This is Myers. It looks a lot keener for Wigan at the start of this second half. Remember, these two sides met in the First Division earlier this season. 31-30. Forward past that surely to Myers. Referee lets it go. 31 points to 30. Bradford Northern won in that match in the First Division. Possession switches. Hamer swooping on a loose ball.
Again, good approach from Wigan there. They look to be more well organised in this second half. But Bradford again capitalised on a Wigan error to come away with the ball.
Gerald Caudle can fly. That's good tackling from Edwards. 5 minutes gone in this second half. Still Bradford ahead by 6 points to 4. This will be a stern examination, though, of this Bradford Northern side now. Wigan, the holders, favourites for just about everything they take part in. Hobbs' kick ahead, surely impeded. Will Wigan have stopped? Medley has this. If he dribbles this forward and keeps his nerve, he scores, and he has. Well, Hobbs kicked ahead. He kicked over the top of the Wigan defence. It looked to me as though he was impeded. Referee waved play on when he saw it was Paul Medley who followed up. Medley dribbled the ball through the Wigan posts and touchdown for what could be an important try, and the try that might well put the holders out of the competition.
We see David Hobbs here, a little chip over the top. He runs into Ian Lucas, and whilst everybody was watching for the referee to blow the whistle, Medley, with his exciting pace, kept going with the ball. A real soccer-style dribble to finish a great try under the post. There's his first pass, again Brian Robson style there, and again he keeps his head, keeps control with the left foot this time, and there it is, a great try.
Paul Medley's 7th try of the season. He must like Central Park. He scored a couple of tries here on this ground for Leeds in a cup tie a couple of seasons ago. He's added to that record. And Hobbs has surely the easiest kick of the afternoon to make that lead 12-4. No problems for Hobbs, straight into the building site. 2 more points for the Bradford Northern player coach, and Northern have an 8-point gap.
Yes, it was vital for Bradford to take the initiative at that point. Hobbs put a lovely chip over, and Medley's pace saw him come through the Wigan ranks as though the whole defence were asleep, and produced a great score, and that will give them great heart for the second half.
So Wigan restart. Now, apart from the Australian tourists, Wigan are unbeaten here at home this season. We could be watching a first on the Sports Channel this afternoon. John Money, the Wigan coach, far from impressed with the way his side have started this second half, although it looked early on as though they'd got the recipe absolutely right.
It's a feature of the Bradford performance that they've made very few mistakes around the play of the ball. The number of passes have always been to hand, and the guys have just taken the ball and made good yards, and it's just frustrating Wigan no end.
And that kicking from Hobbs has been important. He didn't find touch then, but he's given Hampson something to run at, and Hampson has responded to the challenge well. Ball's back in the Bradford half of the field. Edwards. Lost a bit of his pace of old, as Sean Edwards for me, but still an important member of this Wigan side. Andy Platt driving down the middle. Hanley juggling from Skerrett. No one will try harder than this fellow to put one across his former teammates. Goulding telling Hobbs to get off Skerrett's back, let Wigan get on with the play. Edwards and Hanley. Good tackling from Paul Medley, and also from Neil Summers.
A feature of the Bradford defence is just how fast they're moving up wide out, which invariably is making Wigan turn the ball back inside, and of course then they're up the middle, weighted into the Bradford pack's hands.
Caudle had to hack that ball out as Bottiger closed in on him. Caudle a bit annoyed with the challenge from Bottiger, and the touch judge and referee having a conversation. This is the reason why.
Hampson puts a good kick into the touchline here. Jerry Coydle, the Welsh wingman, is just waiting for it to go out, but quite rightly, under the pressure from Frano Bottiger, puts the ball away. Better safe than sorry. And I think we had a few Welsh expletives after that.
It's scrum down, and the referee telling everyone just to calm it down a touch. Bradford doing well at the scrums. They have a bigger pack than Wigan. Edwards to feed then. This is a vital one. Comes out on the Wigan side. Edwards to Hanley. Hanley again. The strength of the man, the upper body strength as he swats the tacklers away. Feeds Iro. Iro to Myers. Over 10 minutes of this second half gone. Northern ahead by 8 points. The longer the game goes on, the more frustrated Wigan will become, Terry.
Yes, what this scoreline means is that Wigan have got to score twice, and the way the Bradford defence is tackling, personally, I think it's a tall order if they don't get something in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Skerrett shrugging the challenges off again. Can't get away from those two, though. Goulding from dummy half. Edwards. Hanley just couldn't take it. And the feature so often of the match this afternoon is that every time the ball's gone to ground, it's been Bradford who've come up with it.
Yes, Bradford are very hungry for possession. Every time they lose the ball, they're onto it, and every time Wigan lose the ball, they're onto it.
Well, Andy Goodway perhaps a bit too quick in there as second tackler on Roger Simpson. He was grounded, and the referee rightly has given Bradford Northern a penalty. Simpson was on the floor.
Here we see Simpson going across the field. Not good policy usually to run across, but he's well and truly tackled by Dean Bell. But Andy Goodway comes over the top, and really a mistake on Wigan's part, because a kick from Hobbs will relieve the pressure now.
As they make a vital 20 metres from that penalty. Referee Holdsworth just clearing the pitch of the second ball. Here we go again. A mistake from Craig Richards, the substitute. Icy fingers, perhaps?
Yes, it's a little chilly out there, but we then again saw how Richards, although he made a mistake, he was quickly to get on the ball, and that meant that they got a scrum and a chance to get the ball back. And they've now won it, of course.
Yes. Referee unhappy with the way Wigan were going in at the scrum down. A penalty to Bradford Northern. And Ian Lucas is receiving the words of wisdom from referee John Holdsworth. I don't know whether he'll agree with them, but that's the reason why, he was saying.
Front row forwards never agree with anybody, Eddie.
Penalty count just shading in Bradford's favour. And the most important statistic, of course, they lead here now 12 points to 4. And as Terry Flanagan says rightly, Wigan must score twice if they're to go through. Paul Medley has got a lot of appetite for this game. Scorer of the try that could see Bradford home.
Yes, Paul Medley is one of our best second rowers in the game. He has got tremendous pace, and it's quite a novelty that in as much that he can probably score from 60 or 70 yards with that alarming pace he's got.
Myers collects eventually, but Bradford have moved up in numbers. They've pinned him. Hampson wanting to get on with it. Iro. Medley again, good tackling.
He used his pace for a tremendous cover tackle there on Iro.
Dean Bell now. I must say, since those early incidents where Bell went in high and Furbank went in high, the match has settled down, and it has been a good advert for the game since then.
Without doubt, the tension was there for all to see early doors, but the game has settled down, and tackling is of the highest quality and quite fair, of course.
So much at stake. £30,000 to the eventual winners on the second Saturday in January. Big money prize in rugby league, that. And of course the first major final of the season. It's all about semi-final places here today, though. At the moment Bradford have got 1 foot in that semi-final. Will they be in the little velvet bag tomorrow morning? Pendlebury.
At this point of the game, it's interesting to see just how willing some of the Bradford players are to get involved and bring the ball away, give the big fellas a rest, and save their steam for later on. We saw the wingers and the fullback both bringing the ball away there.
Shaping to kick, Hobbs again. Not finding touch, but there are one or two coaches who say that you don't necessarily need to find touch so long as your forwards come up and cut the man in possession's options down. Myers, Hanley and Edwards. Iro. He's not making the inroads that he did in that first half. Here's Hanley again. Oh, swinging arm over the top by John Hamer. The Wigan captain is laid out flat. Not getting up after that challenge.
I think Ellery will just be having a couple of minutes rest there just to get his breath back. I didn't think it was a particularly bad one. We saw, as usual, shrugging people off, and John Hamer came over the top and caught him one round the head, and Craig Richards just went to finish off having a little chat with Ellery.
Took the wind out of Hanley's sails completely. He'll carry on though. Made of stern stuff in rugby league. Risky pass, it came off though. Misses Summers. Running at Hampson, straight through him as well. Still going Summers, great run from the standoff half. But the referee has pulled Bradford back. They've been awarded a penalty, and it looks like obstruction or holding back in the tackle.
A tremendous run from Neil Summers here. He takes the ball in his own half. Bobby Golding from Wigan runs out of the line going for the interception, On a 50-50 ball, Summers capitalised and raced through the gap, produced a super step to go around Steve Hampson. Here we see he's looking round, he's got the vision, steps off his right leg, steps Steve Hampson, he's going away from Goodway, produces a super handoff, whoops, down you go. But just off screen, we saw the Wigan player holding back the supporting Paul Medley, as he was in the first half at the Pendlebury try, and of course gave the penalty away, and this gives Hobbs the opportunity to put another couple of points on the board.
Running repairs for Neil Summers after that run from the Bradford physio, Ronnie Barrett. And now then, David Hobbs has this kick to really cement his side's place in Monday's semi-final draw. If he kicks this, I think Bradford Northern will breathe a huge sigh of relief and believe they're there. Hobbs then. Oh, he's pushed it wide. Well, for a goal kicker of David Hobbs' quality, that should have been easy.
Yes, he'll be disappointed with that, will David. He had all the time, the composure, and it would have pushed the points through to 14-4 instead of the 12-4 that we're still left with.
On the plus side for Hobbs and Bradford Northern, Wigan still have to score twice. And all the Wigan crowd on this near side said that was forward as far as they were concerned. Referee disagreed. Bradford allowed to continue. Craig Richards. Referee's voice, he says he wants to get on with things. Come on, let's go, he says. Hobbs again. John Pendlebury's had a good game for Wigan. Hobbs' kick for Bradford Northern, rather. Hobbs' game again, kick again. Just doesn't find touch.
Bradford won't be too untoward about that kick. He's put Wigan right on their own line, and the pressure is firmly on Wigan at this stage.
Yes, they've got to get away from those posts. If anyone could have done, it was Goodway. This fellow might, Ellery Hanley. We're midway through this second half. Bradford have the 8-point advantage, 12-4. Edwards. Moxon collects. Where are the Wigan chasers? They've arrived now. And they get the Bradford fullback. Oh, swinging arm there. Medley ducked under it. He saw that one coming from Goodway. Darryl Shelford.
Again, simple rugby from Bradford. Just taking the ball off the first and second man. Just making yards, no fancy passing. And as the clock's ticking away, it's making increasing pressure go on the shoulders of Wigan.
David Hobbs, experienced campaigner Hobbs. But Platt dropped on that. But the referee, with a wry smile, explaining the ruling to the players, says it's a scrum down. There we are. The rules explained perfectly. I hope you heard it from Mr. Holdsworth. Accidental offside. Bradford's head and ball. You agree?
Yes, we saw Hobbs feeding Brett Eaty, who couldn't hold the pass, but was incurred an accidental offside. And Bradford have come away with it, and I expect them to go the 5 or 6 tackles with this, again using the simple rugby rule.
Richards' run. They can't bring the big fella down. He shrugged Edwards off, taking Hanley on now. Surrounded by red and white shirts there, Craig Richards. Doing well.
Ryan Noble's had a good game from acting halfback. Very simple, just making yards up the middle there. Ex-Great Britain captain.
Roger Simpson, the man in possession for Bradford. David Hobbs hanging on to that football. The last tackle, and Grover kicks it into touch. That's unusual.
Yes, a good ploy from Dave Hobbs there. He didn't want to let any of his team have the complexity of kicking. He simply put the ball down, and of course in league you can play the ball forward as well as back, and found touch, and the ensuing scrum there to see.
Wigan in possession then again. That looks a penalty. I think that the tackling player there believed that Hanley was going to regain his feet and carry on running. As it is, he has done from the penalty. This is a great run from Hanley. In this sort of form, there's no one better to watch.
He's had a fantastic game. I don't think he's not made any less than 15 yards every time he's had the ball.
Happily, completely recovered from that pelvic injury, Ellery Hanley. Although I think it's still there, niggling away at him. Goulding has taken a bang on the head. Hanley again. Now Lucas. Edwards takes over. Goodway.
That was a repeat move of the try in which Goodway scored in the first half, but on that occasion it wasn't executed quite so well.
Last tackle. High kick from Edwards. Shelford drops it. Gets it at the second attempt. Lucas following up, and the referee's decision, a knock on. So Wigan exerting the pressure here in front of 5,296 supporters. Not a big gate, but on the first Saturday before Christmas, understandable. It's Wigan who have possession. They must have 6 more there as Bradford Northern struck for the ball at the play of the ball. Edwards. Wigan have stopped.
There we see the Wigan attack fully bunched around the play of the ball, and men are looking round they have no options at all.
Goulding. Lucas. Goulding again. Goulding was tackled as he kicked that ball forward, and Mr. Holdsworth said he was tackled unfairly. Wigan have a penalty, and with an 8-point gap, I think that Hanley will say they must kick for goal here.
A big dummy from Bobby Goulding, got the acting half back there. He goes the blind side, chips over, and was duly knocked on his back.
So Hanley has taken control of the situation. He says that Frano Botica will kick for goal. Again, John Holdsworth explaining the decision to Brian Noble. He's a good referee, John Holdsworth.
Yes, he's one of the best in the game. He talks to players. He makes mistakes like all referees do, but he does liaise, and you can get some sense out of John. It's unusual to see the ball that Frano Botica is kicking here. He's around the corner kicker, but he's kicking with the ball pointing towards the goalpost. That's quite unusual.
Confidence, perhaps, and the confidence is well placed. Botica's first successful kick of the afternoon. Wigan 6, Bradford 12. Botica's 25th goal of the season. So the gap now 6 points.
Here we see Goulding throw the big dummy to the left, step to the right, a little chip over the top, and the player John Hamer was committed to the tackle, and Goulding went through with the dying swan act and won the penalty.
Pendlebury restarts then. Wigan have 10 minutes to save their place in the semi-final. The holders in danger of going out here. They're treading on thin ice. And with the temperature at Central Park today, I think that's the right adjective to use. It's icy cold here. Goulding always busy. Hanley. Hampson. Wigan are not dead yet.
Now Wigan are opening up now and they're throwing everything at Bradford in an attempt to get these 6 points back.
Here's Skerrett. Ball in field to Hanley. It's untidy. Who's come up with it? Tony Marchant for Bradford Northern. Must be almost 100% when the ball's gone free this afternoon. Bradford have come up with the loose ball and retained or regained possession.
It's a measure of how hungry Bradford are for the task in hand this afternoon. They really want this victory, and really they've shown the Wigan the way home in all those occurrences.
I notice Paul Helliwell has come on. Paul Helliwell, the A-team skipper of Bradford Northern. Good defensive player. Maybe a move by David Hobbs just to settle the ship down. Hampson read that situation perfectly and set a good ball out too to Myers. Edwards. Bell. There's Gildart.
The Bradford defence is still holding strong with tremendous covering from all the players.
Yes, Wigan are doing their best to keep that ball alive, but they simply can't find a chink in the Bradford armour. Lucas. Iro. Crowd urge him forward.
Super leg tackle by Pendlebury again.
And there's an indication perhaps of the fact that things aren't going right for Wigan. A ball into no man's land. Goodway, luckily for them, was first to it. Hampson hacks ahead. He's following his own kick up here. Great take from the fullback. Bell continues it on. There's a chance here for Wigan in the corner. Edwards, good tackling. And that was on the last tackle as well. Good defence from Bradford, great attack from Wigan, the best in the game.
Without doubt, Wigan finally produced a bit of sparkling attacking play, and we saw Hampson a super take in mid-air. He fed the ball back, and a fantastic cover tackle from Paul Medley, using all his power and pace to snuff out the situation.
Wigan have woken up to the fact they're 6 points down, and they're losing their grip on the Regal Trophy. Under 10 minutes to go. Bradford ahead by 6 points. 12 all would be, of course, a replay on Tuesday at Odsal. Pendlebury's kick. Anywhere to get it out of danger. Hampson for Wigan. Weighs his options up. Played well, the Wigan full-back today. Iro and Myers. Pendlebury's had a great game too, though, for Bradford Northern. Skerrett. They know all about him at Bradford. His transfer went through in the summer, £150,000 worth. Goodway. Edwards. Keeping the ball alive. Bell. Iro's in support. So is Hanley. Ball spinning on the spot. Referee says knock on. I don't think Ellery Hanley agrees, you know. Brave decision that.
I think it was the right one. There we see Dean Bell taking a good run up the far side there. Hamer comes across and he throws the ball inside. I think it just touched Hanley's hands there as he was about to pick the ball up. And they all count, even though no matter how small they are.
It's just brought the Wigan revival to a temporary halt. Bradford back in possession. Paul Helliwell. Here's Hamer. The Bradford pack have worked overtime today, haven't they?
Yes, every man has been superb on attack and defence. They've not made many mistakes. They've just run strong and hard, and they've taken the chances when they've come their way.
5 minutes of normal time left. Bradford can see the winning tape. Will they get to it first? That's a good kick from Pendlebury. Look at the ground he made on that. Bottic has had to pick that up on his own try line. And what's more, Bradford have chased him down. That's great play from the men from Odsal.
A super kick from John Pendlebury. He picked the ball up from acting half-back and really produced a long-ranging kick, kept the ball on the field, and the Bradford boys were down there very shortly after, and Wigan have got it all to do.
Garrett again. Good way. Andy Platt, he'll run all day. This fellow will create openings all day too. I think he'll claim there he was hit a bit high, Bobby Goulding. One in the Adam's apple for Bobby Goulding. Again, it's Bradford who come up trumps though. In defence, Brett Eaty. Moxon. He's been in the wars today, hasn't he, Darren Moxon? But he's played well.
Yes, we said the knock to his head early in the game would either make or break him. I think it certainly made him. He's had an excellent game, been very willing, and has done well all afternoon.
First mistake from Paul Medley, and the first time that Wigan have been first to the loose ball. The holders don't want to go out of this competition, that's for sure. Hanley again.
Even late in the game, we see how Ellery Hanley has the ability to push defenders off. Tremendous power in his upper body.
Edwards and Hanley, and Edwards again. Good way to Iro. They do well to keep that alive. Here's Dennis Betts. Back on the field. The broken nose repaired. Last tackle. Hanley's kick ahead. Well read. Well played, the fullback. Moxon read that one perfectly. Well, Bradford will be content just to take the 6 tackles now, I fancy. Wigan desperate to get that ball back. Time's running out for the holders. Those kicks have been so important all afternoon, but that one was easy for Hampson. Keep it going. Myers can only retain the possession for his team. Takes the tackle. Hanley again. Here he goes once more. Edwards. Gildart. That's good tackling from Medley. Edwards, long pass over the top. Myers. Good sidestepping run from Myers. Simpson and Marchant though read it well, and Pendlebury in the thick of the action too.
Yes, Myers has had a good game on the right wing for Wigan, but that man Pendlebury again produced another great cover tackle to save the day.
Still haven't finished, Wigan. Edwards from dummy half. Long pass out, well that was difficult for Myers to take. Kicks ahead and kicks straight into the arms of David Hobbs. And Hobbs will be in no great hurry to restart the play.
David Hobbs is never in any great hurry to restart the play.
He'll take a lot of credit, though, for this performance if Bradford hold on. A notable scalp for the player coach. Been in charge since March, when Ron Willey headed back home to Australia. Just 2 minutes left, and Ellery Hanley has been named as the man of the match, and I don't think there'll be many in this crowd of over 5,000 who'll argue with that.
No, he's had a tremendous game as Mr. Hanley. He's looked very powerful all afternoon, and sadly some of his illustrious counterparts have not done the same.
Myers for Wigan. Goulding waiting at dummy half. Skerrett. Last big effort from Kelvin Skerrett. The crowd urging Wigan on. They've won this trophy the past 2 seasons. Is their grip on it loosening here? Betts. Dean Bell. Bradford's motto now is they shall not pass. Edwards. Good run from Edwards, just brought down. That's the last tackle. And Wigan 5 metres short. Goulding. Ball goes free, and it's Moxon who comes up with it for Bradford Northern. That could be Wigan's last chance.
Again, a super cover tackle from Paul Medley. He came across and took Goulding out with such ferocity that he lost the ball. And again, we'll now see the simple rugby from Bradford as the clock is ticking away.
Ellery Hanley, man of the match, and deservedly so. Helliwell, done a good job since he came on. So's this fellow, Craig Richards. Always difficult to come into a match of this importance. Coming in cold, as it were, off the bench. Hobbs is kick ahead again. Oh, judged it to perfection. Could only have been a centimetre or 2 in from touch, and Hobbs raises his arms in delight. A famous victory for David Hobbs and his boys. Wigan, the holders, are out 6 points to 12. Shake hands all round. Disappointment for Dean Bell and Andy Platt, but delight for the Bradford Northern players. Roger Simpson going off to a well-earned shower and bath and no doubt a few beers in the bar, and Bradford Northern going over to the knot of spectators. Tony Marchant telling the players to come over and take the appreciation of their supporters. And so a famous victory here at Central Park for Bradford Northern. 6 points to 12, the full-time score. Let's bring you right up to date with the full details. Wigan, a try from Goodway in the first half, a goal from Botica. Bradford Northern, Pendlebury scored a try also in the first half. Hobbs kicked the 1 goal. It was 6-4 at half-time. Then Paul Medley with the vital try 6 minutes into the second half. And from then it was a question of would Wigan come back. They didn't, and Bradford Northern have held on. 12 points to 6 then. Bradford Northern are into the semi-finals. Now, they won here in the Premiership semi-final when many people said that Wigan were exhausted after Wembley. This result today, though, will no doubt have delighted the Northern coach, David Hobbs.
We knew what we were up against and we came here to do the job, and we've done it.
Was it the fact that it was Wigan made it just a little bit special, or is it the competition?
A little bit of both, really. We are just slowly getting our game together, and as defence has picked up a hell of a lot just lately, and there's no better test than coming to Wigan.
I must say that the boys really performed for you, didn't they?
That's right, you know, take my hat off to every one of them. Asked them to dig deep halfway through that second half, and every one of them pulled everything out.
Because Wigan, towards the end, were throwing things at you, and it looked as though you might crack.
Yeah, it could have come at any time, but like I said, the lads stuck to the task well, and they deserved everything they got out of that game.
Now, you're in the semi-finals, so just one step away from a major final.
That's right. We had his first taste of a major final last season, and we froze a little bit on that occasion. The boys know what they're up against now, so they'll be hungry to get back into another.
So there it is, the last result that perhaps many people would have predicted, but Bradford Northern are through to the semi-finals. And I think, Terry, it has to be said that they're there on merit.
Yes, without doubt. They performed admirably all afternoon. Their defence was strong and solid, and they took their chances when given the chance in the Wigan half. They had some fine performers out there from 1 to 13 and including the substitutes, and really they thoroughly deserved the victory. I was most impressed with the likes of Hobbs and Pendlebury, who grafted from first minute to last, and really it was those two guys who made the tries in the first half and of course in the second, which really clinched the match. A tremendous game, best of rugby league throughout the afternoon on the skills. Wigan didn't perform as well as we know they can do. Perhaps some of their stars are a little jaded from the Test series, but on the whole, Bradford thoroughly deserved the afternoon's efforts and a place in the semi-finals.
Yes, so Bradford Northern through then to the semi-finals. And the next Rugby League on the Sports Channel, Wednesday evening, 9 o'clock. You can relive the New Zealand tour for the Great Britain Lions with Gary Schofield in our I Was There series. So that's Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Next week on the Sports Channel, the first of those Regal Trophy semi-finals. If it's as good as today, we'll be in for a treat. Till next time, goodbye.